Oh no, I feel like Curt goes right now sometimes when the music doesn't fire. Here it is.
There you go.
Well, hello. Happy
Hello there.
Monday. Happy June. Happy National Leave Work Early Day.
I did that today.
You did leave work early?
About 10 minutes.
It's Curt and Jen in the Morning podcast. We are so glad you're here. Welcome. Pat, hot firefighter boyfriend Pat, is filling in for Curt. Curt is on bereavement. That's what he has his dad passed away and he is now in Cincinnati. He started in Florida where his dad lived, and Curt's mom is buried in Cincinnati, Ohio, right? Do I have that right? Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah. And so they flew his dad's body to this so that he could be buried next to his mom. So that is where they are this week. And, you know, of course, lots to take care of in these moments. So anyway, hearts go out to Curt. He said he's doing pretty good. I've checked in with him a couple times, and he and his family are doing okay. It's just, you know, hard time, of course. So we have lots of things coming up on the show today. Pat, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for stepping in last minute, coming off of a 72-hour firefighter shift, which is extremely long. You worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, got mandatoried on Saturday.
Mandatory, yeah.
Thanks, honey.
So if I look disheveled, that's why.
All right. Here's what's happening on the show. We have things to look forward to this month since June. It's June 2nd. We have lots of things. I'm excited for this month because one of my favorite seasons starts. TikTok trends having to do with wine that I cannot even believe. What else do we have coming up? Yeah. You saw the story, right?
No, I missed that one.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you about it.
Things you should never store in your garage, which I break
those
all
rules.
the rules almost. Anyway, sounds that instantly make you angry.
And where Americans are happiest and where Seattle ranks in that. Here we go. We're just getting right into it.
That's right.
Okay. Scroll
there.
We're just trying to figure all this out right now. Oh, I want to do a quick little recap of the weekend. I told people what you did this weekend. For me, I got to do dinner with friends and went on a couple walks and went to the Edmonds Farmers Market, which was amazing. I have a little coffee story that goes along with that, where I was thinking, a cup of coffee as I walk through the Edmonds Market would be lovely. And I saw the line to this place. I'm like, that place has got to be good. I'm not waiting in that line. I'll hit it on the way back. I'll just go down and do my thing. So I came back. The line was, I'm not even going to name the place. The line was a lot better. It still took me 40 minutes to get a cup of coffee. And by the time I got to the front, I know, I didn't think I was, it's one of those things, right? I was waiting and then I thought, this is taking a long time. It's got to speed up. Surely it's got to speed up.
You don't want to give up.
And then that's exactly
right.
I've waited already this long.
I'm gonna hang in there.
Yeah. So I'm like, when I get up there, I'm like, well, I'm close to where Pat's working his shift. So I'm just going to, since I've waited this long, this coffee's got to be fantastic. I'm going to get him a cup of coffee too. And I bring it up to you, you taste it and you're like,
not so much.
This is not good.
I mean,
I waited all that time and it's not good.
It wasn't like it was burnt or anything, but you know how coffee beans can taste different, right?
Yeah.
And it just had that different flavor that I don't care for. And I've had flavors like that before.
He turns to me, he's like, his is an Americano, so it is true coffee, right? And he turns to me, he's like, what did you think about it? I'm like, well, I have a little coffee with my sugar and cream that I put in it, so I don't really count. Yeah. And then the other thing that I did is, because you ended up having to work on Saturday where you were supposed to have a date night and do a project for the boat trailer, and that is to cover the bunks. I went up north, worked with your youngest son, David, to put boat bunks on. I was just telling the story to my roommate, Jackie. I went into this thinking, we will knock this out in a couple hours easy. Like, we just have to cover bunks. And you said to me, okay, we'll see.
Well, and for people who don't know what boat bunks are, they're on the trailer, and that's what the boat sets on. They're basically 2x6s that are wrapped with carpet that go the length of the boat, and when you on the trailer, and when you pull the boat on, that's what the boat sits on.
Good for explaining that, honey, because I just think everybody knows what
everybody
boat
knows
bunks is.
Boat bunks.
So I get to David's, and we are wrapping these things, and it is taking For freaking ever. And of course, no project would be complete unless we went to Home Depot because there wasn't enough glue. So I had to go to Home Depot, get more glue, come back. But it just is a lot. It just is time consuming because between cutting the carpet to the right size and then putting the glue on it and then really having to pull tight each side of the carpet, it was a lot. I appreciate all you home improvement people. It just is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
thank you to you and to David for helping.
That is all I have to say about that.
Okay, pardon me for scroll. I'm just going to concentrate while I scroll here.
Things to look forward to in June. I cannot believe that we are like halfway through the year.
I know.
What happened? But there's a lot happening in June. First and foremost, June 20th is the official start of summer. Now, there's question in the Pacific Northwest is when does summer really start? Is it June 20th when it's the summer solstice? Is it when the kids get out of school? Is it right after Memorial Day, like basically June 1st? Or is it July 5th?
I think it could be any day you want it to be.
When there's sunshine.
When there's sunshine.
We're going to call it summer in the Pacific Northwest. And you start feeling
like it's summer, then it's summer.
Okay, so there's the first day of summer in sports. There's the Stanley Cup Finals, which I think starts this Wednesday, I think. The NBA Finals get going on Thursday. In tennis, there's the French Open that's running through the 8th, and then there's the U.S. Open June 12th through 15th. So if you're a sports fan, there's lots of big things happening in June. Lots of movies are hitting in June. The John Wick spinoff, Ballerina.
Didn't hear about that, but I've watched the John Wick stuff. So.
Those movies, yeah. Mm-hmm. The live action, I can't wait for this one. The live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon is going to come out June 13th. I will be seeing that. And then Pixar's, I think it's pronounced Elio, comes out on June 20th. And then Brad Pitt has a racing movie called F1 that's going to be out on the 27th. So there's some good movies coming out for sure on TV. There's a ton of TV shows coming out. Duck Dynasty, the revival, is the one that premieres. I think it premiered yesterday.
They just lost the grandpa Duck Dynasty.
I know. I actually took that out because I felt like it was old news. Now I feel bad. Oh. Yeah, but he did pass away last week.
Yeah.
Do you remember his name?
I don't. I never watched the series other than little bits of it here and there. So
terrible. Okay. Do you want to talk about the award shows, honey, at all, or do you want me to?
You do.
Okay.
I'm not.
I'm not an award shows guy.
Yeah, let me just read from there.
Award shows. There's a few that are big. The 78th annual Tony Awards, which is the Tony Awards, is happening on the 8th, and that's for like Broadway shows.
Oh, okay.
So it's that BET Awards on the 9th, and the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, and then the holidays. Father's Day's on the 15th, which I was like, oh my God, that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's in 2 weeks. Juneteenth, of course. It's Pride Month. We already talked about the first official day of summer. National Best Friends Day is on June 8th. Flag Day the 14th. National Martini Day the 19th. We should celebrate that.
I can do a martini.
And then also something big that happens in June is what?
No.
I wasn't going to say National Selfie Day on the 21st, honey. I was going to skip that one.
Oh. What
I was going to say is that my daughter, Riley, graduates from the University of Washington.
Okay, you didn't add that to the notes. I'm like, no, there cannot be a National Selfie Day.
Honey, there's a national day for everything.
Oh, gosh.
We might have to celebrate just because of your angst toward it.
I don't do selfies. You do selfies. I just happen to be in them.
Sometimes you do selfies where I'm like, I can't get the right angle. You're going to have to do this, honey. Okay. This is interesting. I don't really know that we're going to just talk about it. Welcome in. I'm putting that in air quotes for you just watching the audio, not seeing the visual parts of the podcast. Welcome in has become the new go-to store greeting. Like when you walk into a store, and I'm like, what's the big ding deal about this? I'll put it in here, but The Wall Street Journal just did an oddly in-depth article on how welcome in being in all caps, has been the new go-to for store greetings when you go into an establishment.
Why is in? Can you just hit the thing there? This here to drop down?
Oh yeah, we can, except for now it went too far down, honey. It went all the way down.
Oh, so I screwed
No,
it.
now it went all the way up. I don't have my notes because I don't know what they said.
It's welcome in. Right
The in is the big one. Okay.
Why is in capitals?
So no one's sure how or why it became popular, but it's a lot more common than it was 5 or 10 years ago. Some people think it's fine, and I don't even know why this, like, seriously, I don't even know why this is a thing.
Yeah.
Some people think it's fine and maybe more inviting than the one word welcome. But others think it sounds dumb and the person's trying too hard. I don't even pay attention.
I think people make too big a deal
But it's
out of
interesting
things like
that the Wall Street Journal is doing this big in-depth article. Are they just lacking content?
I was going to say slow news day or something. Because I mean, really,
the
why? What does it
writer of
matter?
the article thought maybe a big corporation put it in their training manual and it spread from there, but they couldn't find any evidence that what it was caused from. I mean,
okay, if you're gonna number one, if you're gonna do an article, you probably should find out the source. Otherwise, don't do the article. Seems like they're leaving a hanging thing there. I don't know.
Okay, I should have skipped this one. Clearly.
That's okay.
But I mean, as long as I'm being greeted, that's what's important to me, right? That I think for anyone, like,
hello.
you want to be seen. Yeah.
I don't care what welcome in, hello, hi there.
I don't care if there's an in or not. Just
honestly, I don't even need a greeter at the door, to be honest. It's like I just walk through, go get my stuff, and out I go.
We're calling this one. We're done with this one.
Okay.
Most Americans think they're above average in these things: trustworthiness, honesty, and empathy. Oh, stop.
Oh, double.
Sorry, double music. In a comprehensive poll, more than 70% of Americans believe they are above average or far above average in trustworthiness, loyalty, and honesty. More than 60% believe they're above average in ethics, reading ability, empathy, open-mindedness, attention to detail, and sense of humor. How do you rate yourself on that? I mean,
I've never really thought about rating myself. I just hold myself accountable for things that I feel I want to do. I don't know where I rank in society, nor do I really care.
This is super helpful, honey.
I know. You're welcome for standing. That's what you get when you get me for standing.
Women are more likely to believe they're better than average at all of those things that I just named, except sense of humor.
Why would that be?
Women are more likely to believe they're better than average at all of those. I don't know. We have higher confidence levels? I don't know. 67% of guys think they're above average compared to 53% of women for sense of humor. The biggest swing in the other direction was empathy, which may not be a surprise. 69% of women think they're more empathetic than the average person compared to 56% of men. I believe that too.
Yeah.
But you're saying, why do women think they're above average in all those things?
Well, I can do a little video that I can reference a little video where the woman is picking out tomatoes and the guy grabs a tomato and gives one.
At the grocery store.
At the grocery store.
In the produce department, Pat sent me this.
Yes.
There's a woman that's like, has her bag in her hand. Or no, the guy's holding the bag, right?
I don't know who's holding the bag.
Okay, but the woman's like inspecting the produce, these tomatoes, and putting them like very like inspecting, putting him in the bag, inspecting and putting the bag. And then the husband starts handing him her stuff from the pile. And then what happens?
Well, she looks at the one that the husband gives and she puts it back because it's not good enough. So then the husband starts grabbing them out of the bag. The ones that she selected, grabs them out of the bag while her head is turned looking elsewhere and gives that one to her. And she looks at it and puts it back. And then he does the same thing. And she keeps like putting back the same ones that she picked out were right. So if I had to go by that, I could see why.
That's pretty funny. I don't know why we think we're above average in all those things, honey. What else does it say? On the flip side, only 15% of Americans say they're above average in running, and 16% say they're above average in dancing ability.
This boy don't run anymore that much since I shattered my ankle.
I never started, so.
And then dancing, dancing, it's your own thing.
That is what I was going to say. Just dance. Like, who cares? Like,
dance like nobody's watching, and you're
people,
good.
Yeah, there's people that are professional dancers, so leave the professional stuff to them, and you just groove to the music.
What was Elaine, the dance that Elaine used?
Oh, from Seinfeld?
From Seinfeld.
Right?
Yeah, just dance like that.
You know what? I like liked your words, Pat. Like, hold yourself accountable. Don't compare yourself to others. Do the right thing.
Yeah.
A few other stats from the survey. 3/4 of Americans say they have high expectations of themselves.
And
I'm in that category. I have very high expectations of myself.
And women are more likely than men to say they find it difficult to accept compliments, which, I don't know. I have a hard time accepting compliments.
You do. You have a very hard time. And then what else? Adults under the age of 45 are more likely than older Americans to say their parents praise them often. I got to read that again.
Yeah.
Adults under 45 are more likely than older Americans to say their parents praise them often. Americans who are praised often as children find it easier to accept a compliment as an adult. I don't think my parents praised me that much. Mom's going to kill me. She's going to say, yes, I did. Not compared to what we do now, I feel like.
Well, maybe what you do. You do a good job. I am not good with that. I mean, I'll say good job or whatever, but it's like,
honey, you're doing a great job at the
not
podcast
everybody,
co-hosting.
Not everybody gets a trophy.
Try your trophies. I don't believe in the try your trophies, that's for sure. Okay, the question of the day that we asked on Friday when Lori co-hosted with me, which if you haven't checked out, that's a fun episode. What's a sound that makes you instantly angry? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
Not that really comes to mind. I mean, I think when I'm driving and I hear somebody honk behind me.
Oh, that was someone answered. Someone
really?
answered that. Yeah. Okay. Here's what people said. This is what I do. I typically read them. I'm like, oh yeah, that one for me too. Phil said, turn signal blinker that keeps blinking instead of canceling.
Okay.
So I get maybe if your partner's driving and the blinker signal's still on and clicking.
And you know what? This next one, Corey said, noisy human eaters and teeth scraping on a fork or spoon. She says, I can listen to an animal chomp and slurp away all day, but not humans. I would agree with that. The only thing is that like a lot of these things for me, if I don't pay attention to it, it doesn't bother me. But the minute I hear it, and then I can't unhear it, and that's all I focus on. It's like a clock ticking on a wall that you never hear until you do. And then you can't.
Amanda agreed with Corey, people chewing. Kim said fingernails on blackboards. That was we got this question, and that was one of the things they said. A lot of people say fingernails on blackboards, but it's older people because there's not even blackboards anymore.
I was just going to say that. You can't get that scraping on a whiteboard anymore.
But even when you do this and I think of a blackboard, I'm like, it sends chills down my spine. Nicole said repetitive tapping, words dripping. I don't get that.
Repetitive tapping or words, dripping. So repetitive words maybe? Or no, just words in general. There's certain words, like moist.
Maybe. That doesn't bother me.
No, but it might bother other people.
It bothers a lot of people. People chewing ice or smacking while eating.
Smacking while eating.
Paul said crazy Karens, which I thought was pretty funny.
Static on the radio. It's a broadcast engineer would say dead air as well as static.
So Juliet, so I added that actually. Juliet said static on the radio, and I added a broadcast engineer would say what sound instantly makes them angry is actually silence on the radio or TV because it means that something is very wrong.
And then Heather said, dude who altered his vehicle to be unbearably loud, which I would agree with. I don't know what it is with the
muffler,
station.
Right?
Yeah, they just go straight pipe or something, or they, whatever their noisemaker is. Motorcycles as well. There's some that are really loud. I don't know what it is with Mill Creek, where I work down in Mill Creek there at the intersection. I don't know what it is with that, but everybody decides that they want to rev up their engine right at that light. And it is loud.
It's loud enough that you're talking on the phone with me and I hear it. I'm like, what is going on?
I don't know what it is with that intersection where they feel like they got to get on there.
Eric said, people driving with bass music so loud it rattles my ears. Leslie said, people who hike with music on for all to hear. Yeah. That would be annoying. Yeah. Meredy, who has been in a band for, I would venture to say, 60 years. Meredy is Carrie's mom. Carrie and Randy. Carrie's mom. You've met her. Yeah. She plays in a band even still today, and her answer was a concert band playing out of tune. Oh, yeah. She would pick up on that. Jackie, people chewing with their mouth open. And Brad added to that as a comment that's the sight and sound both are annoying.
Yes. And Jan, horn honking just to show their displeasure. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I get more annoyed with if I'm not doing anything wrong.
Okay.
But I have to admit that sometimes I've been guilty of that in the past, of honking, and then you're like, why aren't they going? And then you can't see around them, and you see why they're not going, and you go, okay, I feel like an idiot now.
I use my horn when I need to, for sure. I do not hesitate. Phil says coins rattling in the cup holder in the console. Anne agreed with others, saying people slurping. Go ahead.
And then Laurel, car alarm and heavy construction noise too early in the morning.
And then finally, Shannon said fireworks, especially after a random sports game in the middle of October. Actually, they always make me angry because it traumatizes my dog.
Oh.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I love fireworks, though. I love them. I love watching them. I think they're so pretty.
Oh, there you go. Just do that.
There's a couple of things that I just am putting in this little section of our podcast quickly.
This is all her.
I know. Taylor Swift gained control of her music catalog, and this has been a big deal. If you like Taylor Swift, and even if you don't, you've probably heard about the big drama with the scooter guy who owned a record company and took hold of her music, and then she didn't have the rights to her own music anymore. And so she's like, screw it. If I don't have rights to my own music, I'm just going to re-record all of my songs and make them mine. So she recorded 4 of her 6 albums and made it Taylor version, which I believe many of those songs outsold the originals, which is great. But then on Friday, it was announced that she purchased the original recordings from the current owner, which is Shamrock Capital. Not Scooter's company, because Scooter sold his music company to Shamrock, and then Shamrock said, okay, you can purchase them. And she said it's the greatest dream come true. And of course, there was no financial information disclosed on what the terms were. I'm sure it was a lot of US dollars.
I'm sure she has enough to cover it. I'm curious why, if she's already re-recorded 4 of them, maybe for nostalgia's sake of those were her first, and having the rights to her music.
Yeah.
But she had to buy that back. So she's got enough money. It's kind of like, I got the money. I'll buy it if they're willing to sell it.
But sad that you don't, but the artists aren't owning their own rights to their own music. Oh, that's how it
always is
at
the beginning.
I just don't love it. That's just yucky. And then I wanted to mention that Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake, surpassed Sinners to become the second highest grossing film at the U.S. box office so far this year. It still trails behind a Minecraft movie.
Oh, really? I don't know any of that.
A Minecraft movie was like crazy this year as far as films, but I would be willing to bet that Lilo and Stitch might pass it eventually.
It's pretty popular. Even I know of Lilo and Stitch.
It's I know.
Even though I have never, I've seen clips, but I've never sat down and watched a whole thing.
Me either.
Yeah.
I've never seen the whole Lilo and Stitch movie, and my daughter Macy, who is obsessed with Lilo and Stitch so much, she has all the things Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, she's appalled by her mother not having seen it all the way through, I should say. This is the story. You're like, I didn't read this. Want me to tell you?
I don't know.
Was
this in there this morning? Because I didn't see it.
It was. You must have skipped right past it. So there's a TikTok trend, because we like to bring you the latest in TikTok trends because it means so much.
Yes.
Here it is. It has to do with wine, and it is putting jalapenos in white wine. Here's what people are doing. So if you're having, let's see. There's a trend going viral on social media where people are putting jalapenos in their white wine, specifically a chilled glass of Sauv Blanc with frozen jalapenos in it. And so they slice the jalapenos, they leave the seeds in, freeze them, and then put them in the wine. And people are saying, quote, divine and refreshing, light with a little bit of spice. And some videos that you can see online show the spiciness can be stronger than a little bit.
Is it? Oh, so it's
air quotes a little bit. It's like, yeah, because if you're putting jalapenos in your wine and the seeds are in there.
If they put one seed in your wine, you would be.
No, I'm like, if I'm going crazy on stars, like spicy level for stars, I'm like 1 star.
Yeah. And that's
That's
crazy.
spicy. That's real spicy. You'd think that snobby wine experts would freak out about doing something like this. I actually wanted to talk to our friend Kevin, who owns Lance Cellars in Lake Stevens. If you've never been, you should go because it's delicious. But they're actually on board, and they said it's because of the science. One expert said that it's because wine has organic compounds called, want to try it?
Nope.
Pyrazines, called pyrazines, which are also found in bell peppers and jalapenos. So Sauv Blanc can have citrusy characteristics, and some even say it smells green and peppery.
Okay.
So I think what they're saying is it actually complements, because of what's already in the wine, it complements it.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things like that, so. All right.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah, things you should never store in your garage, which
Let's keep in
I mean,
mind.
I get what's behind that, but if you don't store it in your garage, where do you store it?
I will
Some
also,
of these
can
things.
I also mention that you're getting ready to build a close to 3,600 square foot garage shop area?
I think it was
So,
3,300.
Right.
but-
Why wouldn't you store this stuff in here? Because you have all the space.
Yeah, I mean, it's you have a garage for a reason. You don't want it in the house, and you can't put it outside. So therefore, where do you put it?
Garage.
Now, some of these things, and we'll talk a little bit. I'll go on. So
It's according to Southern Living.
to
Right?
Southern Living.
This is all
Oh,
according to
Southern
Southern Living,
Yeah.
which is a magazine. If you live anywhere with heat, humidity, or cold winters, your garage is not a good place for storage. Take
Yeah.
it from here.
Well, it says, do you use your garage to park your car or as a storage unit like the rest of us?
I use it as a storage unit.
And that's why I want a big shop so I can use it as both.
Okay, honey, you're so pretty.
You might want to think again for storing anything, if you're storing anything meaningful. And I get that. According to Southern Living, as she mentioned, if you live anywhere with heat, humidity, or cold winters, your garage is not a good place for storing some items.
But we don't have any of that here, I would think. Or not usually, at least.
I mean, our humidity, I don't know we don't have 100% humidity normally. I get, and that's why as we go further, I get what they're talking about on some things. Here's why. So moisture and temperature fluctuation, they'll ruin some stuff over a long period of time. So bugs can get into the sealed containers, and you have to worry about rodents and spiders too.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, hopefully you sealed off your garage so that no rodents can get in there. But
they're
insects
gonna get
forget.
in. Can't rodents get in?
I mean, my big shop that I had, I never had rodents.
You
Even
gotta knock on some wood.
yeah, knock on some wood. So here's a list of items you should never store in your garage.
You want me? I thought you were going to
Oh,
talk
well,
about them. You
yeah,
talk
I didn't
about
want to
them.
be.
No, you can
So,
hog it. You
pet-
can hog the mic,
pet-
honey, here.
Yeah, that's all they need, right in my face. Pet food is one of them. Which, once again, I think if you seal it, like put it in a big garbage can, like with a lid. That's to me, or a big Tupperware with a lid. I don't think rodents are going to mess with it myself.
Okay.
But pet food, that's one. Wine, I think the temperature
Climate, right?
temperature fluctuation in wine. Blanket and clothing, once again, that's the humidity and stuff that can get it moldy.
Okay. Why paint?
Well,
Paint's the next thing on the list.
So here's the thing that I think, and maybe this is just my interpretation, but paint, firewood, propane tanks, those are all flammable, and therefore they say, oh, don't store it in the garage, because if it caught fire, boom, you got a big, not an explosion necessarily. Well, in propane tanks you could.
But even if you put firewood and propane tanks outside and it's still near your house, it still is flammable. It doesn't, what's the difference?
Well, I think the propane tank is more of like if you get a leak, then you got a leak in propane tank in your garage, and you got that. Paint, once again, it's a chemical. And they also mentioned, I think they mentioned chemicals down the list a little bit. And once again, chemicals, where else are you going to store chemicals? Now, if you have, like, at work, OSHA requires you to have a flammable locker, like a flam locker, to put chemicals and things in.
You'll be so proud. Your son David is looking at getting one of those for his shop.
Oh, yeah. So there's ways of taking care of that.
But also the paint, because this kind of happened to something that you had in a trailer that would kind of be like a garage. Is it got, we had that big freeze and then it froze.
Well,
Would
yeah.
paint freeze?
Yeah, paint. Yeah, and I lost paint because of that.
Okay.
So yeah, if your garage isn't heated, definitely. So important documents and paperwork, once again, goes back to the humidity and the bugs and anything like that. Photographs, same thing. Books, same thing.
Here, let me get it. I got you. Hen.
I had it.
Oh, you
there
do?
we go.
Okay, got it.
Electronics, probably, once again, the humidity.
All of it is that, right?
Yeah, artwork, of course. I mean, stuffed animals, same thing. Pillows, same thing. Chemicals was on the... And then easily flammable items. So obviously, I mean...
Well, you run into this as a firefighter.
Yeah, but where else do you store that stuff? So I get what they're saying, but what do you do with that stuff? You're not going to keep it outside because you don't want it to freeze.
Keep it in your house.
You don't want to keep it in.
You're not going to keep your stuffed animals and your pillows outside, for sure not.
No, and I say stuffed animals and pillows unless they have some sort of meaning behind them. Get rid of them. I mean, why do you keep those things?
Some people might just say, if they're in your garage, you're probably not using them, so just donate them or get rid of them.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. So, but there's some things like camping stuff. Well, you may have camping pillows or something like that. So I get it, but I don't know.
We're moving on.
Moving on. Cue the music. Where Americans are happiest.
I'm going to tell you that I saw this on the news this morning because when I woke up this morning, I woke up a little later than normal because we're doing this podcast a little later than we normally do. And I was watching Fox 13 Seattle, and they had this on there. It's like where Americans are happiest. That was the survey that was done by Smart Asset. And they measured. I'm going to try to condense this. They found that measuring happiness is kind of subjective, but there are some things that come into play that are, what do I want to say? Why can't I think of the
key indicators kind of
Thank
happiness.
You're welcome.
That's why you brought me.
So, for instance, research ties higher incomes and lower poverty levels to higher levels of happiness. Life expectancy and marriage rates can also reveal indicators that the community is more prone for happiness. So with this in mind, they ranked 90 of the largest U.S. cities across 11 happiness metrics spanning from the categories of personal finance, physical well-being, quality of life, to determine the happiest cities. And the number one city is not Seattle. What is it?
Plano, Texas. Happiest city.
Happiest big city in America. They rank among the top 10 for...
highest rate of marriage.
Yep. And they overtook...
top 10 for happiness.
They overtook Arlington, Virginia. That was number one last year. Most affordable housing for residents in Midwestern cities is Iowa's the highest, meaning most affordable. They're the most affordable housing city to live in. Do I have that right? Yeah. Followed by Fort Wayne. No, I'm sorry. I got this. Fort Wayne is the lowest.
Has the lowest rate of residents struggling to pay their housing in
Hope
Fort
you're
Wayne.
Still listening to our podcast since I can't get these numbers right.
Boise, Idaho
was number two.
Was number two, and then
Wichita,
Pittsburgh, and Oklahoma City.
So those are the top 5 cities that it's easy to afford housing. Easier.
Yeah, they can
than most other places
more comfortably
in the country.
afford.
Yeah. Residents are expected to live to nearly 84 years old in Arlington, Virginia. That's the second happiest city. That was the second happiest city. So the first happiest city was Plano, Texas, followed by Arlington, followed by number 3, Raleigh, North Carolina, and number 4, Seattle, Washington. And it's not because of affordable housing. I know that for sure.
I want to know. I really want to know where they got this study stuff.
Why was Seattle ranked number 4? I'm going to tell you because I got to scroll a little bit. It is due to 58% of household earnings of $100,000 or more.
Well, you have
$100,000 or more. You have to have that in order to even try to thrive here.
In Seattle.
You were like, I'm baffled by this. It says 83% days with good mental health. And then life expectancy here in Seattle is 81.
Yeah. I wonder how life expectancy, I mean, the range is very small difference from like number 1 versus number 10 on the list.
Because number 1 is 84 and number 10.
Number 1 is Is that the life expectancy
I
there?
think so. Like,
Yeah,
we'll
so
call this 84. 83.9 is basically 84.
Yeah, 84. Yeah. And then we're down to, some of them go down to 79 years old. So it's a very small range.
I was going to mention some of the other cities. So Seattle was number 4. So it's Plano, Texas, Arlington, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Seattle, Washington, San Jose, California, Boise City is sitting at number 6, Fremont, California, number 7, Lincoln, Nebraska, number 8, Durham, North Carolina, well, they have 2 cities in there, is number 9, and Anchorage, Alaska is number 10.
Interesting. They don't give any stats on Anchorage, though. I'm just kind of curious.
Oh, no, they do.
Didn't clip.
I didn't clip that part because I was like, we're not going to talk about all these stats.
Yeah. Whoa. All right.
Well, that's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If you want to fly to one of those cities where you can really thrive, Frontier Airlines has stayed. I wanted to put this in here because it's a big deal for me where I live in the Pacific Northwest, and Pat, you too. We live in the north end of Western Washington, and Frontier Airlines is debuting at Paine Field in Everett, Washington. So at Paine Field right now, I think the only airline carrier that flies out of there is Alaska, which is great because I love Alaska Airlines. But Frontier is now offering flights to Denver, Las Vegas, and Phoenix.
Footnote, none of those are on the top 10, so just...
There is a footnote to that. They're adding more cities. I heard, and I couldn't find it online for some reason when I did a quick search because it was kind of last minute. They're going to have 10 destinations eventually. But these are the first 3 that are debuting is Denver, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. And to celebrate, Frontier is offering low fares. It's as low as $69 each way. That's cheap right now.
Yeah.
They're flying out 2 to 3 times a week to each of these destinations. So, I mean, you're going to have to, the days are going to maybe be a little tricky, but you know what? If you can fly to Vegas for $140.
That's old school days. I heard that, I mean, I never really did it because I didn't go to Vegas a lot, but I heard there were people that would jump on because it was so cheap. They'd jump on just to go down for the day and then turn around and come back.
I would like, can we? Time. I should have played Time, oh, give me time.
Yeah. We're busy doing this podcast, so we got to.
The podcast, the remodel, the boat work, all the things.
All the things.
All right, we're at the end of the podcast, and we always have a question of the day at the end. And before I give our question of the day, I want to say thank you again to Pat for being part of the podcast. I appreciate you taking the time, especially being super tired. Yeah. Our hearts go out to Curt again. He should be back next week, I think.
Miss Curt.
Yeah, we miss him for sure. And then if you have an opportunity to hit the thumbs up button, the heart button, the subscribe, which is free, by the way, the follow, any of the things that you can hit to interact with our podcast seriously helps us so much. Pass it along to friends. Tell your family about it, that, you know, you get some good conversation pieces, I feel like. Yeah. And hopefully you get a little joy and a laugh. Anyway, okay. The question of the day. What did you get caught doing that you shouldn't have been doing? Do you have an example?
Not really. I was such a good kid.
I have no words. We'll post it on the Facebook page. I'll post it on my personal Facebook page.
I was just good at not getting caught.
That's exactly right. Jen Pirak is my personal page. We'll also put it on the Curt and Jen in the Morning page on Facebook. So we want to hear your answer to that question. What did you get caught doing that you shouldn't have been doing? I want some juiciness. Give me something good. Thanks again. We hope you have a great Monday. Hope your June is off to a great start. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh because it's good for the soul. Have a good one.